please hit that subscribe button.
Hey everybody.
Better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody. So we've got some huge news today and some great news from the NHL and NHLPA. Phase 3 now has a date, which means we know when training camps are going to open, and that date is Friday, July 10th. So a few weeks ago now, Elliotte Friedman said that training camps were not going to open before July 10th. Well, Elliotte Friedman was right on the ball with this one, and he nailed the date to a T. Friday, July 10th is now when the NHL is going to transition into Phase 3 and open formal training camps for the 24 teams that are still playing this season. So just a few days ago, Phase 2 went into effect, which means teams have been able to put, players have been able to put workouts together in very small groups. I think it's a maximum of 6 players at a time. So they're at least back in the team facilities. They're at least training again, getting on the ice, albeit in very small groups and not in any sort of real structured format. Phase 3 will be a full NHL training camp. There'll be coaches, there'll be, training, it'll be the full team. It's going to be a much more structured, regular NHL training camp. And we don't have a date yet for Phase 4, which is the actual return to games and actually playing hockey. But if I had to venture to guess, I would say it's probably going to be a month or so after Phase 3 starts. So we're looking at, around August 10th, somewhere around there. That is best case scenario. I think it could potentially go longer than that. I would think, though, they're going to want at least a month or so of training camp. 3 weeks at an absolute bare minimum, but probably about a month of training camp just to get the players back together, get them, playing again, get them skating. And the big thing is getting back into game shape, because these guys have not played since March 12th, March 11th, March 12th. So, they've basically had an entire off-season worth of time off at this point, or are going to by the time that they start playing again. So it's really about getting back into game shape. So, that's going to take some time for sure. I've got the official statement from the NHL and the NHLPA pulled up right here. I'll read it for you. It says, the National Hockey League Players Association and the National Hockey League announced today that formal training camps, Phase 3, for the 24 teams resuming play will open on Friday, July 10th, provided that medical and safety conditions allow and the parties have reached an overall agreement on resuming play. The length of training camp and therefore the start date for formal resumption of play, Phase 4, will be determined at a future date. So obviously for this to fully go through, things have to keep trending in the right direction, which they have been now for the last few weeks, which is obviously very, very good news. There hasn't seemed to be a whole lot of disagreement between the NHL and the NHLPA. I think they've worked together very, very well through all of this. I think both sides, obviously there's some things that the players want, there's some things that the league wants, but I think they've done a very good job of working together, understanding that they're both going to have to compromise a little bit, and that not everything is going to be perfect or exactly how they want it. And for the most part, they've come to some pretty quick agreements on these kinds of things. So exactly the opposite of what's happening with baseball right now. Baseball has been the exact opposite, where they just can't agree on anything, and it looks like they may not even have a season this year. The NHL and NHLPA, which with all the lockouts we've had, with 2005 and then again in 2012, 2013, they're not always on the best of terms, but the NHL and the NHLPA, I think, have done an incredible job of working together through this and coming to agreements, compromising, and they've gotten this down to where we are moving along very quickly and very smoothly here. And that's, I think, very, very good to see. So overall, the big news is that we now have a date for training camps to start, July 10th, and we're one step closer to the return of hockey, so obviously very, very happy about that. And again, we don't know the date on Phase 4 yet. It's going to be later. I would think probably about a month after Phase 3, but we're going to have to wait and see until they officially agree to that and they agree on the full everything of how they are going to fully return to play, which obviously there's still plenty that needs to be decided. But it's really nice to have a date on it, and just another thing to look forward to here as time continues on. And so it looks like we're going to have a little over a month of Phase 2, and then Phase 3 is starting. So very, very good news on the NHL front. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.